So hi, I'm the handicap chairman at Denton. My name's Brian Fairbrother, and together with Steve Glenwright, the competitions chairman, we run the comps at Denton. We're recording a set of videos on the rules and how there's sometimes the scenarios that occur at Denton Golf Club. Basically, it's intended for new members who may never have played in comps, members who may have played in few comps, and certainly members who may just need a refresher on some of the rules. So this particular video series is actually with regards to paths, bridges and ground under repair. Okay, so here we are at Denton on one of the many paths, and I found my ball and it's landed on the path here, and I've got a few choices when I land on a path. I can actually go back and play where I last played from. Obviously I wouldn't want to do that because it's a stroke and distance penalty, so I'm going to take a free drop. So what are my options? Well, my first option is I can play the ball and I can ground the club, no problem. The next option is to determine where I can take the free drop. So really important, always mark your ball on the path. The next thing is, what we're going to do is we're going to determine our nearest point of relief. The nearest point of relief isn't the point that you want to choose, it's the nearest point of relief. So we're going to measure this one, and we've got to take full relief. If you're taking a free drop, full relief, which means your feet. So what we're going to do, we're going to determine, and the first nearest point of relief is obviously here. So I'm going to take full relief off the path, and I'm going to mark my ball. And now what I'm going to determine is the other side of the path, the nearest. So once again, I'm going to take full relief, and it's obviously by the camera that this is a lot further away. So even though this point here is not good, because all the trees are in the way, this is my nearest point that I have to do if I'm going to take a free drop. Once you determine it, you're going to pick your ball up and you're going to mark another club length. And now you can take your drop from knee height, and that ball is now in play. Okay, so now we're in another situation. My ball's on the path. My nearest point of relief, once again, it has to be nearest point of relief, not necessarily where you can actually take a shot from. So before you now choose in this situation, don't touch your ball. Mark it and determine. And the nearest point of relief in this case is quite obvious. Unfortunately, it's inside these bushes. So in this case, if you determine that you're going to take a free drop, well, unfortunately, it's inside this bush. It's not where you want to take it, where you've got a shot, which is right over here. It's always your nearest point of relief. Nearest point of relief doesn't necessarily mean in golf that you're going to have a fair shot at the ball. So here we are on one of the many bridges at Denton that cross the water penalty areas. And the major point about this is a bridge is inside the penalty area. So what are my options? I can go back and play from where I last played from at stroke and distance. I can actually play the ball, and it's obviously just my normal shot. I can ground my club as well. My other option is to go back as far as I want in line with the flag. However, this is a penalty drop. It is not a free drop. And some people think that just because it's on a bridge, it's a free drop. It's not, it's a penalty drop. So please remember that before you make your decision. You may believe the best decision is actually to play the ball. So one last word on paths. We mentioned about your nearest point of relief and not your best point of relief. It's always the nearest, and in some cases this can mean not very nice drops. So in this case here, my nearest point of relief is not this nice flat area over here, it's actually this really bad slopey area here. So this is where I must take my drop, and once I've marked it and taken swing and stance, this is where my drop is going to occur. And now that ball's in play, it's not a good drop, it's downhill, my target's actually over there, but I've got to aim there. So that's really important when you're taking your drops. Free drops, you've not got a choice. You either play as it lies, or you take your nearest point of relief, not the bit of relief that you would prefer. Okay folks, that's it. Okay, so I found my ball in some ground under repair, GUR. It's clearly marked with a white line. And at Denton, you have to play outside of GUR. You cannot play in GUR with any part of your club or your stance inside the GUR. So what I've got to do is, once again, I have to measure my nearest point of relief. Now in this case the flag is over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I'm going to mark my ball before I pick it up. This is a free drop. I'm then going to take my nearest point, and then I'm going to mark one club length. And now I'm going to pick up my ball, I can clean it, and I can drop. That ball is now in play. So remember, at Denton you must take full relief out of all GUR. If that means your nearest point of relief from the GUR is under a brush, well, I'm really sorry, that is rubber the green. Your options then will be, you may decide then to take a penalty stroke if you do end up with your drop under a bush, and then proceeds under the rules of taking penalty strokes for unplayable lies, which we'll be discussing in future rules videos.